Hey everybody, this is Bradford, your carnivore curmudgeon, and this is the part of our story where I usually tell you that I am a carnivore, but I am not actually a curmudgeon mostly. But there was some additional curmudgeonly things happening this week, so I'm going to have to say I was mostly a carnivore this week. And here's what I ate. So the beginning of week 3 was March 15th, a Wednesday, and I started off the day, I was working from home, and started off the day with a great breakfast, some fried eggs, some pork belly, and a piece of leftover T-bone with some butter. It's just, what a great way to start the day, right? And then that evening, I had a couple of hamburgers, and yes, I do use mustard from time to time. Had some chicken livers, some sliced hog jowl, which is what looks like bacon there in the picture, and a hard-boiled egg. And then the next day, March 16th, a Thursday, I had breakfast chili. And underneath that pile of sour cream are 2 hamburgers, which you can't really tell from the photo. And of course, the only thing that makes this breakfast chili is that I ate it for breakfast. Then that evening, I had a nice egg scramble. Had some leftover pork belly and some ground venison and ground beef chili all mixed in there with just the tiniest bit of cheese. Now Friday, I wasn't really hungry in the morning, but about midday, I sort of got famished. So I went up to the local store and bought a rotisserie chicken. Already had some ham slices and some cheese and some butter there at work. And so it made a great midday meal. But then Friday night after work, well, I had a couple of adult beverages, and as so often happens when adult beverages are consumed, other bad choices were made. I ended up having, I won't tell you what I had, but it started with a P and it ended with pizza. And so I might as well have just dived into this dumpster, especially the way it made me feel the next day. But speaking of the next day, I scored on some marked down shrimp. It was still partially frozen, so I knew it was still good. And so shrimp became involved in a number of other things in the coming days because, you know, when you get a good deal on something, incorporate it. Like I did that night, Saturday night with my one meal that day, a nice steak. It's a little gray because I cooked it in the air fryer. The weather was not good. And I had some hog jowl, some bacon, and some scrimps. And then Sunday, a simple breakfast, a little ground beef patty that I smushed together and cooked like a hamburger with some eggs and some bacon. And I was kind of in a hurry because Sunday I knew I was going to be involved in a bit of a project for a video I posted last week, and that was stuffed chicken legs. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch that video, I would encourage you to check it out. It's kind of a unique recipe, and it was really delicious too. So I shared it with some coworkers and ate some for lunch, but I also had one that evening for the evening meal. There's a cross section of it stuffed with ground beef and pork, and then the chicken leg is there wrapped in bacon. It's all the good food groups. And while I was cooking that recipe, I also threw some pork shoulder into the crock pot and let it cook all day long so I would have it for the next few days. Then March 20th, I got so hungry I was halfway through eating my breakfast at my desk when I realized I hadn't taken a picture. So what you see there is some ham slices, a hard-boiled egg, a half-eaten hamburger, and a piece of cheese. What's not shown is the other hamburger that I ate before I took the picture. And that night, I had a delicious egg scramble with some shrimp, some leftover andouille sausage, and some ground beef. I think there's even a couple of little mushrooms in there that I had left over, didn't want to waste. And finally, Tuesday, March the 21st, the last day of the 3rd week, I had 2 hamburger patties with a little mustard, some butter, and some of that pulled pork I mentioned before. And of course, the ubiquitous hard-boiled egg. Then that night, it was just a big bowl of shredded pork. Tasty, filling, nothing to complain about. little salt and pepper is all it needed. And that's what I ate on week 3. Exercise is still going good. And we march on to the 4th week. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next week.